Welcome back to my Insane Mode tutorial for Gears 5. Yeah, there won't be anything too difficult. As we dealt with a few videos ago with the pouncers, as I mentioned, there's really not anything too threatening here. But there is some sections like this one where you pretty much get one shot killed if you're out of cover even for a little while. So you're going to want to... I would recommend using the stim heavily, which will give you temporary armor, and it'll give you enough time to pop out and get some shots off. Ideally, you'd want to go for headshots with a well, you'll really only have the Boltok at this part in the game, so try to get those headshots in with the Boltok, and do it in stim mode. You know, be patient, and if you need to, just wait around for your stim to refill. And of course, use your flash ability to stun them and get some extra headshots too, but don't rely on it, because if you stun one with flash and then try to go for the headshot on the stunned enemy, there's a good chance the other one will headshot you immediately. So you die very quick, which you'll notice when you get to this part. You won't see it here because this is not going to show any deaths, but you'll find out quickly that you do die very quick on this part. It's not really hard if you're patient and you wait for the stim to come back. Just don't be, overly aggressive and try to rush the enemies. Obviously, the torque bow enemies are the ones that you're mainly going to want to take out. Those are the most dangerous. I think they may have been the ones that were one-shot killing me, but I'm not completely sure. But they seem to be the most dangerous. But yeah, once you get rid of the torque bow enemies, you can kind of just hang out here and you have enough time to pop out briefly and take some shots without getting one-shot killed. So I think it was the torque bow enemies that kept one-shotting me and killing me. And if you run out of ammo, you can use stim again to make a weapon run. I was trying to get some weapons off of my teammates, but they don't give them in this part of the game for whatever reason. So you can use your robot by aiming at the weapons and hitting X to have the robot retrieve weapons for you. So definitely use that. And if you need time to pop out without getting damaged, just use stim to either run and pick up weapons or aim at them for the robot to pick up. Of course, grab the torque bows from the torque enemies that you killed. You're going to want those. And now you should be able to take out the remaining enemies very easily. If you can get torque headshots, those are instant kills. But I think these guys that are remaining are pretty weak anyway and will just die as long as you stick them with the arrow. But the headshots can be better. I guess it doesn't really matter for those weak enemies. But yeah, for a lot of these parts, they're quite easy if you just take your time, hang back, and wear the enemies down. There's a lot of parts that don't really force you to come that far out of cover. I mean, you may have to make some, position changes, but I found so far there's a lot of areas where you can kind of just remain safe and pop off the enemies at your own pace. Initially, this part seems difficult because, I was dying instantly when I was out of cover, so that seemed like it was going to be a little difficult, but I think it was mainly those torque assholes. So, using stim is a huge... it really changes things up when you use stim, because it allows you to pop out, and it gives you a decent amount of time, at least a few good seconds, to take some good shots and try to pop some heads. So, highly recommend using stim. I didn't really use it, as I said, on the experience mode, which is the hardcore mode, basically the equivalent of it from the other games. But I'm definitely using it on Insane. And as I've been saying in every video, there is a lot of component pickups in this whole act. So be sure to search these areas and scour them and try to get all the components you can get, just so you can upgrade all your shit. For this guy, I just took cover here. I used the robot to stun this asshole, the tall guy, and just shot his head with my Lancer. Very fucking easy. I then used stim because, he wasn't stunned anymore and I wanted to finish him off, so stim gave me a little bit of an advantage. I think I cut the video a little short there, but yeah, pretty much I finished him off you know, with a few more pellets to his head. Very easy. He was almost dead, so you get the idea for that part. So yeah, now here you're just going to shock this area. It's basically just a, it's more of a cutscene almost. You may have to finish off a few juvies that get past the shock, but I mean, there's not much to do for this. But it does lead into another encounter. Another easy encounter, though. This is not going to be hard at all. You'll be able to sit back and take your time and just take out these guys at your own leisure, so you don't really have to, you know, worry about getting too involved. Whenever I can, I try to hang back indoors and in door frames or whatever and just pick off at enemies, you know what I mean? Just kind of take my time, and if the game forces to me, I'll get more aggressive. If the game forces me to do it, then I'll get more wild. But, you know, if I don't have to do it, I'll sit back and just pick these guys off. And you'll be doing that a lot in Insane, or you should be anyway, unless you just like to play super aggressively, but you really don't need to. A little bit later, it's going to be probably in the next video, I'll show the location of at least one of the relic weapons, probably both of them that I'm going to be getting. A sniper relic weapon and a Boltac relic weapon. And these relic weapons have special abilities that make them kind of worth picking up. And one of the things about getting the sniper relic weapon, aside from the fact that if you do a perfect reload, you get 2 consecutive shots before having to reload again instead of 1. That's huge, but what's probably even more useful than that is the fact that it counts as a different weapon. So you can have 2 sniper weapons equipped, or 2 sniper rifles equipped. You know, one on your left weapon, one on your right weapon, which basically means that you can have 28 rounds of sniper ammunition. And, you know, as you know, sniper ammo gets picked up pretty frequently from ammo boxes. So you can pretty much keep those probably for most of the game. So that would be, I'm definitely going to be keeping that sniper weapon. But I'll go in more detail about that later. Yeah, so for this, take your time. Go in that weapon room that you saw me go into to get the Retro Lancer. There's a bunch of weapons and ammo and shit in there. So, you know, get what you want. For this, you got a bullet sponge turret enemy, which are extremely easy to deal with, but, you know, just be patient, stay behind cover, and try to pick at it. I would also recommend taking out any of the, like, drone-type enemies that appear, because, you know, that way they don't rush you or shoot at you, because you're going to take, you know, you're going to take enough damage if you're getting hit by this turret fire. But if you stay at this door frame, you can get a lot of these shots off and really not take any damage. You know, but once you start moving around, it gets a little bit more risky. But, you know, the guy is usually focused on hitting your other teammates in this part, so, you know, it's probably not going to be too much of a threat for you if you're careful with it. Also, we recently just got Shock Trap, which I didn't really talk about. I haven't, you know, I probably used Flash a lot more on my hardcore playthrough, my experienced playthrough, but I probably will experiment more with Shock Trap on Insane, but I don't have much to say about it as of now. I guess one useful thing about it is that it not only has somewhat of a stun effect on the enemy, it does damage too, so it's probably better than just a regular stun. Since you can get a little extra damage in with it, it might be useful for that. But so far, Stim is one of the most valuable abilities I'm finding. Because you can keep yourself alive when you're about to die and you press that Stim button. It can give you brief armor, which is enough for you to survive and regenerate your health and get out of the area. So you can save your ass from one-hit kills as well. If you're in a sniper area and you want to take some shots, just, you know, pop that Stim and take a few shots and take out 1 or 2 guys, you know. Now, after you clear out this turret and these other assholes, there's going to be some more Torque Bow assholes and Juvies that come out. So, you know, kill the Juvies first, I would recommend, because those are going to be the guys that are going to fuck with you while you're trying to take aim at the Torque guys. And, of course, you do not want to really be taking aim at the Torque guys, or you'll get one-shot killed, like I was saying about these Torque guys. So what you want to do is, you know, again, like before, use Stim and then try to headshot them. But I wouldn't recommend trying to pop out and shoot them if you're not using Stim or if they're not stunned. But like I said, make sure that, you know, if there's 2 of them, make sure that you didn't just stun one of them, because then the other one will probably headshot and kill you. So Just some things to keep in mind. But I mean, don't worry about waiting around for your stim to regenerate. It's not a big deal. They're not going to rush your position most likely, so you can just wait it out, and you should be able to wait and get it back and finish them off. So just take your time. And then, of course, after they're dead, you can grab some more torque bow ammo, or just grab the torque bow if you don't have it. It's definitely useful. Any kind of sniper weapons like long shot, M-bar, or torque are greatly useful on Insane. Those are really the only kind of weapons that I recommend having in your inventory for Insane. I don't really recommend getting the overkill for Insane, even though it's a great shotgun. It's just pretty much in every scenario you can take the enemies out from a distance with sniper weapons and stuns and shit like that. So, overkill is probably not going to be too needed at any point that I can think of. It's possible to be useful for maybe a few specific scenarios, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I mean, you can use sniper weapons at close range too, if you use them right. And you always have the Botok for enemies like Juvies, where you can just one-shot kill the Juvies with the Botok. So you really don't need a shotgun for them or anything. So, yeah, for this, I took the salvo weapon, which I recommend snatching it up and launching it on this this bullet sponge turret guy that we're fighting again. See, it'll pretty much take out most of his health. But I also recommend using stim and shit like that while popping out to take the shots, because you got those torque guys again. So, as usual, they can kill you in one hit. So, if you see them charging their torque bow with the light on the arrow, definitely stay in cover. You don't want to pop out at that point. But even if you don't do that, it's still very dangerous. So, I still recommend using stim when you want to pop out and shoot them. And if you don't have it, just wait for it to recharge, or try to stun. If there's only one of them, try to stun the remaining one and take him out. This checkpoint's a little bit long, so after you clear out this area, you're going to want to kind of take your time with taking out the next wave of enemies. Luckily, you can just hang back and take them out, so you won't have to put yourself in a dangerous position. The one part that was kind of dangerous is one of the Juvies caught me off guard and close range killed me. Just beat the shit out of me and killed me. So, that is something to be aware of. But I think had I known that they were going to approach me, in that area, I probably would have just hung back and played safer. Just trial and error as usual. But now that you're watching this video, it'll probably save you the aggravation of getting killed in that area. So yeah, grab the tri-shot here that bullet sponge guy leaves. Every time you kill one of those guys, they do drop a tri-shot, which is probably the most powerful weapon in the game. So it is dangerous to use, but it's not that dangerous to use if you use stim and then use it, because that extra armor that the stim gives you. See, look, I'm in stim and I'm using it, and I can clear out all three of these guys pretty much with just because I'm in stim mode. So keep that in mind, and you can use it to take out difficult torque bow enemies and shit like that by stimming and then using it. Just don't try to use it too often without stim, without hitting a stim. And if you can, wait for it to regenerate, as said. Same basic idea. But yeah, the tri-shot can tear apart all kinds of groups of enemies if you bring it into the, following encounters. For some reason, I remember riding that robot and going through these areas and killing a bunch of guys, but maybe I neglected to do that, or maybe that's later in the game. I can't remember. But anyway, for here, you're going to want to kind of just hang back. Use your sniper weapons, which hopefully you have two sniper weapons, a long shot and a torque bow, and a Botok. The more of them you could have, I like having 3 weapons that can do headshot type of moves, so... Of course, always have the Botok as a backup weapon, and I always usually have like 2 sniper weapons. Sometimes I'll carry the Lancer if I don't have a sniper, weapon, but I always like having 2 sniper rifle, 2 sniper weapons when possible. The 3 that I mentioned, the M-Bar, the regular sniper rifle, or the M-Bar. Even when I see boom shots, I avoid them on Insane most of the time, just so I can keep my sniper rifles. I find them much more useful. The boom shot, you have you only get a few missiles, and maybe you'll clear out a few weak enemies with them, but they don't do much on the harder enemies. I'd rather just use 3 sniper bullets to get 3 headshots and clear the enemies out that way. But yeah, so here, if you still have the salvo, unleash it on this guy. And of course, do it in stim mode, because somebody's probably going to shoot you while you're doing this. So don't stay out there too long. But you can get most of his health gone by doing that. It makes it a lot faster. Bringing these power weapons into certain areas really speeds things up in this game. It can really make a big difference. Otherwise, this fight would be a little bit more tedious, But not that it would be that difficult, but it would just be kind of a longer fight. Those guys, they take a lot of fucking shots, those turret guys. Just be aware of these juvies. One of them almost got me, and I didn't have stim that I could pop to save my ass. I was able to run out, though, luckily. So, just be aware. The juvies are probably the most dangerous thing in this particular little scenario. I'm not sure exactly where the checkpoints are in these next few encounters because I didn't die. I just played carefully and was able to kind of just barely get by in a few in a few areas, but it was good enough. I edited it down because I do wander around the environments a lot to try to find components. I always look around to see if there's any of those component pieces. And then here there was 2 scragglers that I didn't notice, and I came upon them accidentally on the staircase and just was able to get my tri-shot in on them before they really knew what was going on. So yeah, bring that tri-shot from the tri-shot guy that you killed. And just always steal that shit off of the guy after you kill him, and bring it into this area because it's going to make a big difference on some of these encounters. Especially since I think now you're fighting another fucking... No, actually, you know what this is? This part I was going to say, the tri-shot's great for this part because see where I'm shooting right now with my tri-shot? That little tunnel that I'm shooting in, I killed probably like at least 3 or 4 drone enemies as they were spawning out of that tunnel. So if you do that, they won't have a chance to come out of that tunnel and scatter around the environment. So you can make this encounter way easier by bringing a tri-shot and shooting those guys in that tunnel. And of course, be aware of the overheating and try to hit up, the upper chest area so that you can kind of drift it up and get those headshots and kill them. And just finish off the remaining scragglers with the Boltac. But yeah, you can take out most of them in that tunnel as they're spawning out. So that's why the tri-shot was extremely useful. So yeah, that's it for this. And stay tuned. I'll cover some of the relic weapons and shit like that. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.